Welcome to the longest night of the year. Thankfully, it's almost over. Greetings. My name's Brian. Welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. Day 21 of the Whiscord Advent Calendar. 4 days left. Time flies. I've noticed something, and this could just be life, December, but doing this Advent calendar thing, I think, gets me through December. Because it's bonkers time. It's a real bonkers time. Everything gets dark, like today, and then it's the next year all of a sudden. It's a little much. I was thinking about recently, where it's as if October starts and then the end of the year happens. I don't know how. Like, the rest of the year feels pretty, set. And then you get to October, where there's a holiday in October, there's a holiday in November, and there's a holiday in December. And like big, everything around you will point to that all the time, that it exists, that month. That's all you'll see. And that's how it is with October through December. It's a bit weird. I don't think I like it. But it happens every year, and I have no choice. I'm mostly talking about, it's like whatever's on CVS or in the grocery store, they have that one aisle that's just specific to whatever the hell they think is important. At the start of January, they start throwing the Valentine's Day bullshit your way. So BS. Sorry, YouTube overlords. It's all right. First, I have to replay this because it happened before the stream even started. Zen mood, thank you. That is happy, and this is what it says. Happy solstice tonight. I'll be climbing a hill in the dark to summon the return of light. Wish me warmth. Well, as long as there's no human sacrifices, I'm sure it'll be fine. With that said, again, day 21. Let us see what this will tell me at a glance. And as with many of these, it makes me think it's bourbon. I've been very wrong about that recently, as I'm discovering American malts are becoming more and more and more prominent everywhere, at least in the States. Ugh. Hang on. I've gotten in the bad habit of wanting to just tear these things apart. That is what I'm doing right now. And as usual, this is a shorter stream, because if I tried to do an hour-long stream every time for 25 days, I would no longer be able to function for the rest of the year. Which, I mean, that's kind of how it is on most years, so it's all right. Music Maestro, well, if you insist. I forgot. I've actually listened to a podcast for a little bit there. I almost just started playing something that would not want to have been played. And the music's a lot higher. Woo! All right. Professional, as always. And now we begin with the swelling and the looking and the tasting of the whiskies. Observe, if you will. The color. Would you say it looks like bourbon? I would say it looks like bourbon. But I've said that a number of times this month. Once again, we admire the legs. I would like to believe, it's probably true, but my little tell to myself is watching the legs to see if it gives an idea of the proof or the percentage, alcohol percentage. And the thought is that if it's slower, there's more alcohol in it. If it's faster, there's less. These are moving pretty slow, really slow. Which I feel is just going to make me feel concerned. That's nice. With that, let us begin with the nose. Again, 15 minutes to nose and taste, 15 minutes to talk about what it is. I did not check to see if it was posted today. I imagine it was. Let's find out before I proceed any further. Okay, it was. Good. Day 21. Safe. No, fuck's sake. This is a recurring theme. It's not a bourbon. If it is, it's a weird one. But I got an initial... same as yesterday, like oh god, I just had the word for it. Coffee grounds, cocoa, like these dark. This is a malt. If it's not, again, but my initial. It seems if I have that kind of reaction to a whiskey that looks like as if it's a bourbon, you know, I look at that and assume, okay, it's probably bourbon. It isn't. So far. The taste better be better. Better be better? Better. Should be better. Here we go. We'll just see what happens. It's making me think of Scotch. Which means it could be a Japanese whiskey. Why not? Ugh. Okay. It's getting a little less intense. There was some like mild berries. Blackberries. But it's still that odd sour note. Almost like sourdough bread. Wild. I don't know how that happens where the initial smell is just so intense and so aggressive as far as my nose goes. Whew. You know, I couldn't see something. Probably do that. Okay, good. What's bugging me now is it's starting to smell familiar, and it's making me think more Scotch instead of malt or American malt. The line is getting thinner. Starting to wonder where people aren't going to be able to tell if it's American single malts or Scotch. I bet the Scots won't be happy about that. We're making Scotch in America now. We don't need your stuff anymore. Watch the entire industry start to collapse. I don't even want to think about it. There's already some issues with used oak barrels and Scotch. Used bourbon barrels specifically. This has happened a few times, and it's both good and bad. Because it's leaning towards some sort of familiarity with some of these. The recent one was yesterday. I didn't update the title, but there was a bourbon, I believe it was yesterday's, because I think I drank all of it. It was a Jim Beam product. I'll tell you exactly what it was in case you weren't here. No spoilers. But there was something familiar about it. I didn't know what it was until I found out it was a Jim Beam product. And it was like, oh my gosh. This obviously should have reminded me of Jim Beam. It was something so familiar, but I couldn't pinpoint it. That's what I want to start having happen on a regular basis. Then I can at least have some little, like... there's a word for what I want, but I can't remember what it is. Associations. There's the word. So when I get something like that, where it's like, what is this? It's familiar. Instead of going, I don't know. It'll be like, okay, this, as you remember, was a Jim Beam product. Oh, yeah. This is making me think of some sort of Scotch, or a little torn. I'm leaning heavily into it being a Scotch. Weirdly enough, again, the color doesn't seem quite right. But it's not bourbon. Or some sort of Japanese whiskey like Hibiki or Nika. Nika from the barrel. also was very interesting, but that was a blend. This doesn't seem like a blend. It seems to be one specific thing. Yeah, dark berries. Grapes. Or, what did I say earlier? Blackberries. There's something very sweet about it. But with that weird other malt thing that I can never really understand in there as well, it's an odd mix. Not a bad mix, just there. I think it's making me think of Glenfiddich. I don't drink a lot of Scotch in general. You won't see me going to grab it, pour it. Usually it's bourbons. That's just because, again, availability and price. But I do have a number of Scotches, Spacesides specifically, that I enjoy. And Glenfiddich is one of them. In fact, I believe it was the 15 year. Yeah, the 15 year is one of the more recent ones I did. That I liked a lot. And there's something about this nose that's making me think about it. Unfortunately, I still haven't figured out if this nose I get is specifically to malts that are Scottish or malts that are American made. Or if it's from somewhere else entirely. Haven't been given too many serious curveballs yet. But part of me is just like, there's gotta be a Japanese whiskey in here somewhere. I just haven't found it yet. Gotten through 20, but this is the one. Why do you seem so damn familiar? The initial nose was so weird, and now it's just like, remember me? I'm going, no, I don't. I'm bad with faces. No, I'm good with faces, bad with names. I will recognize a person. Remembering who they were as a name? No. At the very least, I will know I've met them before. That's all I can really give most people. It's getting nicer. I'm going to drink some, because if I don't, I'm just going to keep nosing it. It's interesting. It's an interesting nose, and again, it's one of those little... You've smelled something like this before, haven't you? Have I? Don't remember what it was. All right. Cheers, everyone. Let me know what you're drinking if you drink anything, because I don't like to drink alone. And also, I see most of you, if not all of you, have already done so. Please remember. That's a thing. Appease the YouTube overlords, please and thank you. All right. Cheers. Sorry, I'm not supposed to think about the first sip, but I have a bad habit of not listening to myself at all. Huh. What a weird nosedive that did at the end. The finish went... Turned into something very different. I still have no definitive answer as to if I think it's Scotch or an American malt, or again, curveball of some sort. But it's messing with me is what it's doing. Alright, you know the drill if you've been here long enough. Second sip, hold it on the palate briefly, move it around a little, swallow, then see what happens. No burning sensation. Also, I often get a burning sensation. It's either because of the percentage of the proof, which I don't think that's it, or it's just I have a weird this, which I do. That's why I have this freaking knockoff Prilosec stuff right here, which I've been taking recently. Oh, don't mind me. I just can't get comfortable ever. Cheers again. That was a tiny sip. Toast, cocoa, butter, lemon. I'm waiting for that weird finish. That was the tiniest of sips. I'm waiting for it because I want to take another sip. But it didn't do it this time. It didn't just drop. Alright. I just said whatever just came to my mind on that initial sip. So one more time. Put a little more on your mouth, Brian. Okay. Ah! Kicked the spices, alright. There's a berry note. It is dry. Bourbon for bacon. C922? Oh, I wish. I haven't seen... Well, no, I can't say that. I've seen a number of different bottles at this time of year, but I have a bottle problem, so I'm actively trying not to buy anything. Failing constantly. I'm trying not to. Alright, that numbed my tongue a little bit. Yeah, and I've just gone over my time marker thing. Weird. There are not... It's not overwhelming as far as the notes I'm getting. It's still implying it's a malt of some kind. It feels as if it's too spicy to be a Scotch. And I'm not sure. Ooh. Sorry, I got menthol or some odd medicinal note. Like cough drop. It was weird. I think that's what that dive at the end of the first sip was. It went weird. But I'm leaning into American malt or some kind of odd rye. My brain is swarming with what it could be, but I know what I'm thinking of at the moment is if there are American malts now, they don't need to be single malts, technically. There are no rules, at least that I'm aware of, for that. So you could do a malt rye mash bill, right? Is that an option? I'm not a distiller. I understand what a mash bill is. Don't know if there are any rules against that, though. Okay, one more, and then we'll find out what it is. Graham cracker, gingerbread. There's an herbal note. Very slight. Not sure what it is. My initial thought was mint. Still makes me think rye. How peculiar. And still making me think of something else. It's also doing that weird, like, numbing feeling on my tongue. As if you had menthol, as if you were, you know, you had a cough drop a little while ago and there's still that weird film on your tongue. This is not something I want to pour for myself because it's something I would drink. But it's interesting. That's the important part. That's the one big thing about drinking whiskey is you can try many of them. The nose, again, this has happened numerous times now, was very aggressive initially. did not like it. And even with the palate, I'm just going, okay, interesting. Yes, bourbon's bourbon. I know. That time of year where people do things that don't make sense. Don't worry, it's going to get worse from here on out. As long as I don't turn into Santa Claus, we're good. It's Jack Skellington's hat. Christmas hat. Again, to update anyone who wasn't aware, I liked the Nightmare Before Christmas when it came out years and years ago. And then there was a stint of time where everyone would always buy me Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. For years. Every Christmas. So that explains the hat, the tree. I have a certain amount of posters and things around that were given to me. Gloves. Hat. Knit hat. For outsideness. Okay, with that though, we're going to find out what this is. Day 21. Looks like it has many pictures. Hopefully I can read them. And only one person's reviewed it. Okay. Really? Why? You've been messing with me with this stuff. What? This is the second time this stuff has messed with me. And I thought I knew I liked it. But now there are all these other things they do, which are just confusing. Alright, let's find out more about this. My eyes hurt just looking at this. Owie. That didn't help. Okay. No wonder this was so confusing. Now, I don't know what this is as far as... Oh, it's fairly new. Fudge. Sorry. Hey, I censored myself that time. Hey, doing all right. Okay, the percentage was a little lower than... well, it was around... higher for what it is, but not quite at what I think of as a baseline, my own preferences. So, what we are drinking tonight is a Sneaky Somme Gun. This is the second time I've gotten bamboozled by this type of thing. I think we had one, what, 2-3 nights ago? You don't know what it is. Why am I asking you that? Well, hold on. Sort by date modified. Thank you. So this is Bunnahabhain Islay Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. But it's called the Coterie Exclusive. Coterie. I don't even know what this is. Cask. This is the cask they used for the finishing, I have to guess. 2008. Manzella? Manzella? Manzanilla. Manzalia. Cask mature. I don't know what that word is. Natural color, natural color, non-chill filtered. So that's a natural color, which means whatever this stuff is, and I'm gonna assume it's some sort of wine or just a weird type of wood. Which is why I got that weird funk, probably, other than it being a malt. Distilled, matured, and bottled in Scotland. Filled on 23/5/22. So May 23rd, 2022. Earlier this year. Again, Bunnahabhain. Habhan. Read these words. Let's see. Let's see what else I can tell you, because I just found out what this is. I'm looking at pictures, if you're wondering. It's got a name on it. That's the date it was filled. Okay, I saw that just fine. Oh, the other side of it, sorry. 49.6%. Which would explain why it did not burn as much as I thought it might. if it were higher proof. I like to think I'm in a 50% range as far as my comfort level, anywhere around there. And I've talked about how 60% is where I just start to get fizzled out by proofs. I'll gladly drink anything higher than that, but it's always a surprise. Yeah. Small bottle. Like that? Can't really tell how big the bottle is. Coterie exclusive. No age statement. So does that mean it's a blend? I don't see the word single malt Scotch on there. Or did I? I didn't actually read it. Let me double check. Oh, I was wrong. Bunnahabhain. And I keep wanting to say Habhain because it's Habhain at the end there. Islay single malt Scotch whiskey. I probably said that out loud earlier and then forgot. That's the kind of world I live in. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to look into this. I probably won't, but I should. To try and figure out what this kind of barrel finish they used is, or what this Coterie Bunnahabhain is, because by the look of it, the feel of it, it seems like it might be some kind of special release. And in that case, thank you for letting me try it. Because anytime I see something that has this like vibe of the bottle, it's like, well, this is probably expensive and hard to get. It's not overly fancy, but it's a Bunnahabhain product and they do some pretty neat stuff. And I know of the, is it Dark Cove? I might be thinking of something else. Anyway, so it's a Scotch. I'm glad I at least said the word Scotch earlier today. I was starting to absolutely think it was American single malt, but bamboozled once again, since the color was very misleading. The nose, on the other hand, was leading me to think Scotch. Would I have thought Islay? Absolutely not. No, I would not. But if this was some sort of wine finish or some different kind of wood, I don't remember what the rules are in Scotland. I know in Ireland they can get wild with their wood, but Scotland I don't remember. That must be what brought some of the spices there. And that does explain some of the dark fruits I seem to get. Coffee and cocoa must be a malt. Or not. Yeah, this is all new to me. Everything about this bottle is like, it's a Scotch, it's from Islay. That much I was like, okay. And then they throw this weird, the Coterie, Coterie, C-O-T-E-R-I-E. Is that French? That'd be funny. And then this weird finishing thing that they did. Does it actually say finish? I know what I'm doing. Coterie exclusive, cask 2008, Manzilia, cask matured. Does that mean it was in there the whole time or at the finish? Matured makes me think it was in there for longer. But it doesn't say how long because there's no age statement. So many things where it doesn't tell me enough, but it just tells me something, which is nice, but also, Well, another intriguing Bunnahabhain. I am going to actually go into the vault, because I can do that, by the way, and find the Scotch section, look for the Bunnahabhains that are there, and do a comparison. Because Bunnahabhain has been boozling me. Can't say that again. With some of the stuff they release. Just in this advent calendar alone, there have been at least one other where I was like, I don't know. And then find out it's Bunnahabhain and go, what the fuck? Fuck. The difference. But at least it's a Scotch. Islay, again, there's a default wanting to have peat in this. Oh, God damn it, it's doing it again. Every time I move the chat thing and I say live chat, and then it goes top chat, which is extremely annoying to me. That's fine. With that, we've hit the end of the stream. How did that happen? I looked and I had 2 minutes. Now I have none. With that said, tune in tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Should be at the same time. As always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. And I'll see you out there. Thank you for joining me on KillCo Whiskey Musings. You can find my social media and Patreon in the links below. Be sure to like,